Hi, blended learning teachers. This is Rachel Shell, and I wanted to jump in and answer a big question. Actually, I want to show you how to create your own worksheets. So I know that that's something that we've been working on quite a bit as we've been building out our content is how do we create our own worksheets? Some of you have started finding some interactive activities out there, and that's awesome. And it's a big time saver, but sometimes you just need a worksheet that you've been using in the classroom. So how do we recreate that online? And how do we go beyond the worksheet? How do we make it to where it's actually something interactive and something that our students can use? So using Google Slides, I'm going to show you today how to create your own worksheet. So the first thing that I want to walk you through is setting up the actual worksheet. So what I really suggest you do is go in and do the design part, okay? And I'll show you what I mean by that. So by design, that means go ahead and figure out like what is going to be included in your worksheet. So this is my title of my worksheet, here are my instructions, and then this is all the content that's going to be included. The first part here under sedimentary rock, we have a video, so I've already gone into YouTube, I've watched this video, I know that it's something I want to include, and then I have a question that goes along with this. So I've also got the information for the rest of the worksheet here. I don't have a video yet for metamorphic or igneous rocks because I'm going to show you how to pull that in from Google Slides. But it's really a huge time saver if you go ahead and you just put everything down that you want to include into your worksheet. That way, when you get into the Google Slide part, you can just put it together really, really quickly. Okay, so let's do this. Let's build this worksheet in Google Slide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a new slideshow. Okay, so just from Google Drive, I want to create said new slide. And this is what appears. So if you click theme, which mine automatically opens when I start a new slideshow, we can choose the theme we want. I typically don't just leave it as this plain theme. I like to jazz it up a little. So I'm going to use this theme, okay? And I'm going to start by building out my title slide. So that's just going to be the title right here, which is types of rocks. So I'm just going to select this and I'm going to copy it. So right click and copy. I like to use shortcuts, so Command C if you're on a Mac or Control C if you're on a Windows, and just copy the title. All right, so now I'm ready to paste this in. If I just click here and do Command V or Control V or right click and paste, either way, if I just paste it in, it brings the formatting from the worksheet over, and it doesn't look cool. It doesn't have that really neat title. So what you need to do, undo this, what you need to do is to paste this in, instead of just Command V or Control V, right click and choose paste without formatting. When you do that, it gets rid of the formatting from where you copied it from, and it applies the formatting to it so that it's a really fast way to bring over your text. Okay, so I'm going to go do the same thing here. This is also going to be on the title slide, my instructions. So I'm going to copy those, and I'm going to right click and paste without formatting. Okay, and then I'm just going to clean this up just a little bit. Put the instructions down and make those bold because I want those to stand out. And then notice that my text is going off my slide. So I'm going to select this and I'm just going to make it a little smaller. And then I'm going to click this text box and just move everything up. Okay, so that's my title slide. All right, so now I'm ready to start creating the other slides that's actually going to have the content that the students need to read and watch. So I'm going to go over to the left and right click and choose new slide. Okay, so I'm going to start with sedimentary rock. So I'm just going to do the same thing we did before. I'm just going to copy this, and in the title, I'm going to right click, paste without formatting. Okay, and so that's the title of this slide. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to copy my text, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to paste without formatting again. All right, so there we go. So I've already kind of thought through what I want this slide to look like, and I'll show you so you'll know where I'm going with this. Okay, so I want it to look like this. I want the text here to be right under sedimentary rock, but I want it to only go halfway, and then I want to put the video in. So what I'll do is I'll bring that text box back, and then the text here, this is something that you can do to just make it look nice. You can click a line, and this is what we normally choose left or centered, but I'm going to choose left, and then right underneath that, I can choose to center it in the box on the slide, but I want it to be at the top. Okay, so I'm going to get my text just where I want it. All right, and then I will put my video in next, but I'm not quite ready to do that, and here's why. So when students fill this out, I do not want them to be able to move these items, to delete the text. I mean, they're supposed to be reading it, and so when they're able to manipulate it and stuff, they can accidentally delete it, and then they don't have what they need to read. So what I want to do is I want to set it up so that it is more like this. Okay, so notice how I cannot move or do anything with the text here. So I want to make this where it cannot be changed. So here's what I'm going to do. We've got, right now it can be, so I'm going to come over here on the left, and I'm going to right click, and first I want to go to apply layout. Okay, so the layout that we're working in, these are the different types of slides we can use. The layout we're working in is the title and body. Okay, so that's really important that we remember that. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to click, and see how when I click this is highlighted blue. I'm going to hold the shift key down, and I'm going to click again so that I have a big blue box around everything on this slide. And then I'm going to right click and copy it. Now I'm going to go up to view, and I'm going to go to master. All right. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to put that text on the master slide, and that's what keeps students from being able to move things around. If you did the drag and drop activity, you did this when you were setting that up, but I'm going to show you did that with an image, so I'm going to show you how to do it with text now. The first slide that pops up is the master. We do not want to make the change to the master, because if we change the master, it will change every slide, including our title. And we don't want the title to look like the other slides. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down, and up here is the name of the slide. And remember, we're looking for title and body. So here it is, the title and body slide. Now, we can't just start typing in here. So what we have to do is we have to click on these blue boxes and just delete these out. And then we had already copied the text, so we're just going to right click and paste it in. Okay. And then notice how the formatting was removed. That's okay, because what we're going to do is right underneath here, this one is set up the way we want. So we're just going to click this title, and then we're going to click this little paint format button, and we're going to go back to the slide before, and we're going to just select that first title, and ta-da, there it is. All right, so now we're going to go back down to that slide here in the master. I'm going to click the first level, click my little paint format, then I'm going to go back up and I'm going to select all of this text, and there we go. So it looks nice again. It looks the way that I had it before. I am going to just delete that bullet point. There we go. Okay, so that is ready to go. And now once I close this down, you will not be able to, students will not be able to change this, delete it, move it, or anything. So what I want to do is I want to right click before I close this. I want to right click and I want to say duplicate layout. Okay. And so here's the first one. And then here's the second one. If you want to get fancy and rename it, you can. I'm not going to. I am just going to come over here. So this is my first slide. Let's look back at my worksheet. Okay, this is what I want them to read. And then we'll put the video in a minute. I'll explain why I put it in last in a moment. But underneath that is the question I want to ask them. So I don't want them to be able to delete the question, but I do want them to be able to type an answer to the question. So I'm just copying this question, going back to my slideshow. So remember, I've got the first slide, the second slide that we duplicated. I'm just going to delete all of this and I'm pasting in my question. Actually, let me show you a better way to do it. I just undid that, by the way. I paste in my question, and then up here, this is how I want the font to look. So I choose my little paint formatter, and I select that. There we go. Now I'm going to come up here and delete that extra stuff. Okay, and then I'm going to make this bold, just so it stands out for students. So over here on the left, this will be the first slide, and then the second slide will be the question I want them to answer. All right. So I'm going to go back up to sedimentary rock, and I'm going to right click and say duplicate layout. And I'm going to do it one more time. Okay, so I have 3 of those slides now. And the reason I'm doing this is the second sedimentary rock. I'm going to go now and choose metamorphic rock. And I'm just going to paste that in here. Okay. And then I'm going to grab the text for that. And notice I'm doing right click, paste without formatting, and that text is coming in already formatted for me using this theme. Okay, I'm going to the third slide that I duplicated, and I'm just bringing over this last part. Okay, so now I want to ask this same question for each of the different rocks. So I'm just going to right click and duplicate layout. Do it one more time, duplicate layout. And I'm going to come grab the metamorphic rock. There we go. Get rid of rock twice. Okay. And then I'm going to grab igneous. Okay. So I hope this all makes sense. Okay, so over here on the left now, I have a sedimentary rock slide, metamorphic, igneous, and then I have a question for sedimentary rock, metamorphic rock, and igneous rock. I'm done creating these slides. So I'm going to click this little X, which means we're closing down the master view. Okay, so now the slide we were working on looks kind of weird, and that's okay. Because what we're going to do is we're just going to hit delete here and just delete that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to right click over here under our title slide and we're going to say new slide, and it automatically pulls in our sedimentary rock. And I cannot change this, okay? I can't move it, I can't click it or anything. So now what I want to do is I'm going to do right click over here again, new slide, okay? It brings up sedimentary rock, so I'm going to right click, choose apply layout. And this might be a little difficult to see, but if you scroll down, you can see the slides we already set up. So title and body 2, if I choose that, there's metamorphic rock. I cannot edit it. Okay, so I'm going to do that again. And I'm going to right click and apply layout, scroll down, and I'm looking for igneous rock, okay? So I'm going to do this all one more time. Actually, I want my question to come right after sedimentary rock. So see how I clicked between the slides? I'm going to right click, new slide. Now I have 2 of the same. So I'm going to right click on this and say apply layout. And I'm scroll down and choose this slide because this is my question slide. Okay, so we have sedimentary rock and then our question. And again, we cannot edit any of this. So I'm going to come under metamorphic rock and I'm going to click between those slides and do the same thing. New slide, apply layout, and I'm going to go choose the question slide. And then underneath here, new slide, apply layout, and we're going to choose that very last question. All right, so there we go. We've got it all set up. And none of this can be edited or moved, okay? So the final things we want to do is we want to make this interactive, okay? It's digital, so we can add in videos and graphics and things like that. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to copy the link to the video that I have already found, okay? And on this slide, I'm going to insert video, and I'm just going to choose by URL because I already have this video. There it is. I'm going to click this, select, okay, and it comes in. So what I need to do is just move it over, and I like to line this up with the top of the text. There we go. So it's all nice and it looks really neat here. Okay, so I'm going to go down and do the same thing for metamorphic rock. I don't have a video link for it. So what I can do is I can go to insert video, choose search, and I can search from here for the video that I want. Now, the only thing about this, I'm going to choose this one. The only thing is I'm going to have to come back and watch this to make sure that it's appropriate for my kids and that it really does cover what I need. So it really is to me, it saves a lot of time if you go ahead and you get all your writing done and you find your videos ahead of time. But I did want you to know that you can add a video directly from your Google slide here. So now I'm just adding the last video. Let's do this one. Oh, and one thing I'm looking for too is I don't want these videos super long. So I'm looking at the ones that are just around 2 minutes so that my students aren't having to watch like a 15-minute video here. You might want a 15-minute video, but I do not in this case. Okay, so there we go. I've got all my content ready to go. I've got my reading and my video. Now I need to add a place for students to type in their answers to the question. So I'm going to go to Insert, Text Box, and I'm going to just draw this box right here. Now, before I click out of it, when you add the text box, a little pencil appears, and that's your border color. So I'm going to click that, and I like to choose kind of this middle tone gray. And that just is kind of a visual cue to let my students know to type in this area. And then I also type type your answer here and delete this text. That's probably not the best way to type it, but I do try to give them some kind of visual cue that says type in this section. So now that I have this, okay, I'm going to just select the blue box, right click and copy, and I'm going to go down to this question slide, and I'm just going to paste this. And then I'm going to go to my final question slide, and I'm going to paste it again. And there we go. That our worksheet is finished, okay? So we have our title slide, we have our text that cannot be moved or altered. The video can be, so that's kind of the only holdup. It's not the primary source of information, but if we put the video on the master slide, students will not be able to play it. So we have to put it just directly on the slide. That's why I added it last. But they cannot delete the question or anything, and then they can come in and directly type their answer here, okay? And then we've done that for all of the slides that we have. So here is the one that I created, and here it is. And I'm signed in with my student account, okay, to show you. Now, we didn't set up the title slide on the master over here, but we could if you just follow the same steps, if you don't want them to be able to move or manipulate any of this text. But when we get here, I'm not able to do anything. I can watch the video just by clicking play. Okay, I do love that you don't have to be in presentation mode to watch the videos. That's great. Your students can make this bigger if they need to by clicking down here and making it full screen. Okay, so if they need to see it, if they want to see a closer up view, they can do that. And then clicking escape takes you back. And then here is where I can type in my answer. Okay, and that's all I have to do. Now, if you're using Google Classroom, the way you want to set this up is you want to create an assignment, and then you want to add this slide, these Google Slides, as your assignment, and you want to choose make a copy for each student. And so this will automatically make a copy for each student, and each student can record their own answers here. Okay, if you are not using Google Classroom, you want to just make sure that you come up and you set your share settings so that they are, they are down here set to where someone within your organization, so mine's Archford, but yours will probably say your school, and you want to make sure that they can edit. If they cannot edit, they will not be able to type their answers in. Okay, so that's what you'll choose, but you only do that if you're not adding it to Google Classroom. If you're adding it to Google Classroom as an assignment, then you will just make a copy for each student. All right, so that's a really quick and easy way to create your own worksheets. I hope that it's helpful, and if you have any questions or have anything else you'd like me to shoot some instructional videos around, just let me know. Reach out and give me some ideas.